Now you're ready for the next stage. Where's your toady?
It's right there. Oh, is that it? That's on it.
Now there are several ways of doing this.
Oh, wow. I don't have very long hair,
So if you have long hair, like Devyani, you don't need to use one of these. But I think everybody else needs it. Hers is probably long enough without it too. Yeah. I think Adia's is long enough too. So if you have short hair, then you have to do something different. You have to tie a piece of string onto this thing and put your hair in a ponytail down at the base of your neck with a very strong rubber band. This kind really has to be like a broccoli rubber band. Not one of those thread-covered ones that slides out easily. The kind that pulls your hair and you screech when your mother pulls it out. That kind. And listen. I'm not going to tell this a million times because I'm really sick of it being done wrong. You have to tie a piece of string on this and then tie it from underneath around the top of the rubber band with the piece of string, so it really stays there. So when you braid it, you have it all together. Now, if the hair is even shorter than this, then you might have to make a ponytail of the hair with the rubber band. Do the whole braid with this thing independent of your head. Just tie it to a chair and braid it in with the kunjalam, and have it just ready like that. And then you just tie it onto the ponytail. And then you tie the ponytail onto your braid with a piece of string and those little, they're called Love in Tokyo. Does everyone know what those are? They're little rubber bands with 2 beads, one on each end, like this. You can get little ones that are gold color that look like part of the set, so you wrap them around, and then you wrap them around the braid and the ponytail, and then you button them on the top. And if they're red or gold color, then they look nice. If they're like natural color, like black or that sort of brownish kind, like this thing, then that's also okay. But white or blue or something like that might really not look very good. But so that's one way of dealing with it if your hair is too short. If your hair is long enough to braid this thing in, then you need a string on this. Well, you can, if it's long enough to catch this in. There are hazards to be encountered with this if your hair is short. If you braid it in the normal way, which is to take this back and hold this underneath, and you have to divide the hair into 3 parts and the fake hair into the 3 parts, and you have them all in your hand together like this. This is the riskiest way. I'm telling you. I've seen it all.
I normally put this first and then
There's a knot in the hair. One on the knot's out. Oh, it's got a knot problem here. There we go. Okay. So now I've got 3 hunks of hair and 3 hunks of the choli, and I'm going to start braiding them. Chowdy depends on chowdy, or it depends on whether you're a Brahmin or something.
How much is it?
Different accents. If you're from Tuticorin, it'll be chowdy. If you're from Tamil Nadu, anywhere, it'll be one of those different varieties. If you're from Chennai, it'll be chowdy. So, everyone see this going on here, this braid is going in here. Now, if your hair is longer than Aditi's, everybody, if your hair is longer than Aditi's is only this much, so I'm braiding it in, but what's going to happen when her hair runs out, it's going to suddenly go from a nice fat braid to a skinny braid. And if you wanted to avoid that, you would have to put 2 chowris. So you go like this down to here, and then you would have to add another one where the hair runs out. to make this thicker. And otherwise, we just go like this.
I'm only using one jelly usually.
But this is what's going to happen. It's going to look a little bit like the python that swallowed an elephant. Now we have kunjalam. There's a couple ways you can do this. This kunjalam is tied at the bottom, so I'm going to tie it at the top so that all the threads are together. But you may have one that's the three pieces are separate. And if the three pieces are separate, then you have to spread them out. You have to kind of hold it up and find. You don't want the hair to be covering the kunjalam. You want the hair to be just about running out when you hit the bottom of this string. And if it's with three, you have to divide it with the three pieces of braid. And this is a finicky thing that sometimes you will be doing, undoing it and doing it and undoing it until you get it right. Well, I put it all together this one because this is the way it's set up. But if it's separate, then you just keep going and try to have the longest. If you have it separate, if you have it all together in one like this, make sure that the kunjalam is not with the longest piece of hair. Keep the longest piece of hair and put the kunjalam with the shortest piece of hair. Because now this is going to run out of hair and we're going to need to trade that off. So move it over to there, like that. Did you see what I did? I think you move forward a little bit.
Like that?
Yeah. And now when you get to the bottom of it, can you borrow a little hair from the other one? Now I'm running out of hair.
Is that good?
You've got it. Move forward and move forward. Okay, ideally you would come out like this at the bottom. And if you have three of them, what you have to do is when you get to the bottom, when you run out of hair and your shortest length of kunjalam is the string is finished, then you have to wrap the others like around and in between and make them all equal. You don't want to have one of these things hanging below another up like a staircase. You want them all to be together like this, and then you need a piece of string. Do we have a piece of string?
No, normally I just do this.
Oh, normally that's not a good idea because sometimes it won't work. You need a piece of string. because you want to wind the string in between and around so that it doesn't come apart. Now, this is the weakest, they say a chain is only as strong as its weakest link, and here you go, this is where the weakest link is, where the hair is going to start to try to get away from you here. So you put one of those Love in Tokyo things over here. Anyone? No, they're in the box. If they're soft and big like this, start going from top to bottom of the string. And you know, kind of, if you go in and out a little bit, it makes it easier. Now, is everybody up to there? Oh, wow. I just took it off.
You should change the color of my nose to
yeah. Here, give me your bag of stuff. This is not the way to keep the jewelry, okay? Because this jewelry, this is the thing. When you wear it, your sweat gets on it. And you don't sweat a whole lot, but you sweat a little bit. And the salt from your sweat corrodes this metal. So this is the cheaper kind of jewelry. The expensive kind is like this kind. This is also the cheap kind. Where's one of those, show me one of those. Okay, this is the real stuff. This is so expensive now. It was almost double this year of last year. Very expensive. So if you have someone in your family, I think we should start looking for people who've given up dance and are ready to sell it half price, because the real price is so bad. This is the real stuff. Just pass that around. Everybody look at it. It's made of real silver. They cut a silver plate and then they put a silver rim on it, and then they put lac in it. Lac is like a plastic. It's not wax and it's not plastic. It's actually made out of something that they use varnish out of, and I won't go into it because it's too gross. But they fill that with that, and they sink the stones in that with foil behind them, and then they cover the lac with pure gold leaf. So it's silver, dipped in gold, and then with this gold leaf put around the edges of the stones, and that's why it's so expensive. Also, the labor is more and more. Labor is getting expensive in India. So there is this kind that works quite well. I would not be too happy about everything being of this for an R&B drum, but up until then, I think it's obscene how much this stuff costs, and I think polyester saris for the costumes and this fake stuff is good enough. And don't get rhinestone belts. No student of Kalanjali should be wearing belts like this. Reason is it's tacky. Just be blunt with it. Sometimes you can get this stuff in a set. You can even get this online. But it just looks tacky and I don't like it. Lecture belts. This.
Catherine, that side is bought it for now.
What?
I have a set at home that I use for her. This is my junk meat.
But don't use this.
No, I don't.
Okay. You just use it for
I
parties.
use gold.
The Lakshmi belt. Yeah. It's not real.
Wait, these are my real jewelry?
Otherwise we had robbed you. No, there was, I don't know if you know this Reddy family, they call it Chettinad Rani, Chettinad Palace in Chennai. Does anyone know that place on Greenways Road? That Pratap Reddy is the person who started Apollo.